Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This episode is brought to you by The Wellness Paradigm, a holistic health coaching company shifting the way that women understand and heal their bodies. Through bioenergetic testing, functional lab testing, and functional nutrition, we uncover what traditional approaches often overlook. So you can stop guessing, start healing, and finally feel like yourself again. No more one size fits all protocols, just real answers, deep rooted healing, and the clarity and confidence you deserve to feel incredible. It's time to shift the paradigm of women's health. Now, onto our show. And good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, Shannon. So great to be here.
Yes, I'm happy you are spending some of the morning with me here, and I'm excited to dive into our conversation. It's a much needed conversation in this space, because Melissa really helps women over 40 who feel drained and lost and stuck in survival mode, kind of reconnect with their true selves, reclaim a life rooted in peace and purpose and joy. She blends some holistic healing with real life application and guides women really on the verge of like mental and physical breakdowns to deep transformation. And I think that this is a topic that probably isn't talked about enough. And I'd love to dive into one, who you are and how you got started in this work.
Oh, who I am.
Who
Well,
you are.
oh my gosh. Well, let's see. I'm a woman over 40. So there you go. There's number one. Actually, I'm in my 50s. I'm in my mid 50s now. And I got started in this work when I had my own mental and physical breakdown.
Oh,
For the longest time, I thought it was just a physical breakdown, but the more healing I've done, the more I've realized there was a lot of emotional and mental work that had to be done to
yes.
really bring the physical back
Mhm.
functioning again, right? Because it's all connected. Mind, body, spirit, we're made up of all. And
Yeah.
you can't have one without the other. If one is suffering, all is suffering. And after experiencing my own physical breakdown, of course, later realizing emotional, mental as well,
Mhm.
I started on my own healing journey, but it was during COVID where I
Wow.
really embarked on the actual healing process. I had done a lot of groundwork by visiting, my medical doctor, going to a therapist, figuring some stuff out. But it wasn't until I started actually coaching, being coached, that I started to reconnect the parts of myself that were totally disconnected, and
Mm-hmm.
healing actually began then. So, I mean, people are like, COVID was the most horrible thing in the world. I'm over here going, I'm so thankful that I was forced to face myself
Mm-hmm.
during that time. Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, how many conversations I've had with people about like, when did these things start? In 2020. And it really is a time that could make or break you in many different ways. Obviously, there's a lot of nuance to that. But I love what you said. We talk about this on the podcast all the time. I see this all of the time. It's like there is a physical component, but this emotional component is equally and sometimes not more important, and it's hard when you're so used to like and the holistic, right? You're a holistic coach, right? We think
Mhm.
holistic. We think I'm going to change my nutrition and I'm going to add some supplements and I'm going to be healed. You might get a little better, right?
Yep.
But until you address why this keeps happening or why there's dysfunction in the first place, it's going to keep coming up.
Exactly. Exactly. And when those things do keep coming up, right, that's our cue.
Yeah.
Like that's a clue. It's a red flag, right? Your body, to quote the book, your body holds on to things. Your body keeps the score, right? Your body says, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Mentally, we can keep going. I can push all the way through. But my body said, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
Well, and especially, working with women over 40 too, right? It's you go in thinking, something's wrong, right? And it's like, it's just your age, right? We were joking about this before. You're in midlife, right?
Right.
This is
Yeah. Yeah.
just what happens. And then you
Mm-hmm.
start thinking, when things keep coming up, it's like, oh, I just can't heal because I'm getting old, right? And it's like, no, no, no. These are coming up for a reason. You have a lot more years of things that have been pent up that you have to kind of move through, whether
Right.
that's, emotionally or even physical with, things like liver, gut health, things like that. But, you know, um, yes, I would love to dive into this a little bit more on how you really guide women through this on both in a mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, level.
Sure. I have, of course, we all have our signature systems that we work through, and it's 6 pillars of the peace restoration method. And it's really about getting clarity around what it is that you actually want, right? Because if I don't know what I want, I can't get there, right?
Yes.
If I have no clue. And so many women come to me and I ask them that question, if you could wave a magic wand and get anything you want, what would it be? And they go, I don't know.
Yeah.
So getting that clarity, but also releasing not just what you don't need to hold on to anymore, the things that but releasing the stuck energy in your body that through the years has just created this dissonant frequency and is
Mhm.
affecting everything, right? If I've got an emotion stuck in my liver, it's going to prevent my liver from functioning properly. So
Mhm.
letting all that stuff go and just walking them through this process of restoring peace into their lives, because women come to me and they're like, look, this is where I am, but I just really want to experience peace again. I'm so tired. I can't keep going like this anymore. I need peace in my life. So using the peace restoration pillars, we reconnect with who they were designed to be, because we forget.
Mhm.
I know, Shannon, you're chasing a toddler, you're growing another one. I mean, like, in that process of pouring everything we have into the people in our lives, whether you're a mom or not, you might be pouring everything you have into a job, into a partner. We forget who we are, and
Yep.
reconnecting with who I was designed to be and actually living out my purpose. Oh my gosh, so much power in that.
Yeah. I think that's a hard one because people they lose who they are, through this, I don't know about through this midlife time. I don't like that term, but
It's
through
life. It's just life.
you lose, I mean, whether you're in midlife or not, I mean, you go through transitions
Exactly.
20s and your 30s and your 40s, but it's like, especially if you've had kids or you've dedicated your life to, your work, and it's like you start getting, over this age and you're like, well, what am I doing with my life? And you look back, and I'm sure you have this with multiple clients where there's a lot of grief, there's a lot of, what ifs, there's a lot of resentment, right? And so that's probably holding a lot of people back from healing too, is the past, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
How would you help people kind of maybe bring awareness to that, maybe causing some of the lack of healing, but also moving through it?
Honestly, just working. So I work one-on-one with my clients. I know you have a different model.
Or we work
Um,
one-on-one.
but I love working one-on-one, especially with women over 40, because it's an extremely emotional experience.
Mhm.
Letting go of who I thought I was supposed to be and trading that for who I was designed to be. There is that grief in there, massive amounts of grief when they realize, holy crap, what have I done to myself? And
Yeah.
in that realization, having that clarity, there's this moment where I can see the shift happen, and
Hmm.
they start. It's like a freight train. They just start moving toward that excitement of life again, because they were able to let go of that thing that was weighing them down, which was this belief of who I thought I was supposed to be,
Yeah.
and coming back to themselves. Yeah,
Yeah. It's powerful. I'm sure you love seeing that transition when people,
I do.
you know, feel that. I mean, there's nothing, I mean, we work one-on-one too. It's like there's nothing quite as powerful as, having those connections with many people who have never had that before too, holding space. And um I think that's truly where a lot of the breakthroughs happen.
Absolutely. And I believe we were designed for community and connection.
Mm,
And unfortunately, many women, when we get to this point, whether you're in your 20s or your 50s, right? We get to this point and we feel completely alone. We feel like nobody else has ever experienced this before. How could I go and talk to somebody? Because surely I'm the only one, which
yeah.
is not true, but that's how it feels. And
Hmm.
to get to that place where you go, I can't do it by myself anymore, I need help, is
Hmm.
huge. I did have one client who came to me after she admitted herself to the hospital.
Mm.
Like, she couldn't keep going. She could not keep going. And she came out of her 3-day hold and said, I need more help than what they gave me. And that's how she found me. Like, just like, I've tried everything, nothing's worked. What else is there?
I'd be curious because obviously both of us work in a position where most people that come to us say the words, I've tried everything. And, I get that. I was once there too, but everything is there's so many. I mean, gosh, if you listen to this podcast at all, you realize there's like thousands of modalities you've never heard of.
Right.
What are the things that most people have tried, and what are the things that you have found to be maybe the most successful modality wise, kind of with clients?
Sure. Things that people have tried, like going to the medical doctor, taking medications, getting diagnostic testing done, therapy. And I'm not knocking therapy. I've been to a therapist. Therapy is wonderful, but sometimes you need more.
Yep.
Just trying the regular traditional routes, the things that we're told this is how to do it, right? You go to your doctor, you take supplements, you diet, exercise, all of the things,
Mm-hmm.
and you're still feeling completely terrible, disconnected, depressed, anxious, whatever words you want to throw in there. And then they come. And the things that I've tried, the things that I've seen make the most difference is inner child work,
Mm,
energy work. And I do use aromatherapy to support my clients. I'm a registered aromatherapist, but I feel like that's more of a, not band-aid's not the word I want to use.
it's supplementary, not like the
It
whole.
is it is supplementary. It's more of a breath of relief. Aromatherapy is like a breath of relief for them, but it's really that the inner child work and the energy work is what I've seen make the most difference in people.
I'd like to dive into this a little bit because some people that listening, maybe some people have like are do a lot of inner child work.
Mhm.
But I guarantee a lot of people listening are like, what the heck is inner child work? This was me many years ago too. Somebody was like, we're gonna do inner child work. I'm like, "Pfft," right? Or energy work, even. I have so many energy healers that come on and talk about energy work. So I'd love to know more about what specific kinds of energy work, but also for somebody that maybe is unfamiliar with inner child healing. What is it? What can people kind of expect from that as well?
One of the people that I follow is Dr. Gabor Mate. Have you heard of him? Dr. Mate is a retired Canadian doctor who spent decades working on Skid Row with
Mm,
the lowest of the low, right? The people who get dismissed left and right. And his model is called compassionate inquiry.
mm,
And when I think of his model and the training that I've sat under him with, it's all about having compassion for the child inside of you who did the very best that they could
mm,
with the tools that they had, which, of course, as a child are very minimal.
mm-hmm,
But it's having compassion for that child that's inside of you and the experiences that you went through, and being able to look at that child with compassionate eyes and realizing that I'm still that child.
mm-hmm,
That child is still here. That child is still in me. The work that that child did to survive is still operating in the background. And when we realize the things that we had to do to be okay as children from this, lens of decades, we're
mm-hmm,
able to just rewire that so that the experience is still there, obviously. The experience did happen, whatever it was, right? The experience was there. And I can see how I managed to survive, but that method of survival is no longer necessary, and rewiring it to make it so that what I'm doing now is not dependent on that young child inside of me. I hope that made sense.
mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. I think truthfully, and I'm speaking personally here too, really people underestimate the power of inner child healing. I've seen firsthand these very on a more dramatic level, very somatic releases that happen from inner child healing and others that are much more subtle. But we don't realize, from these ages of 0 to 7, where that's where we really transform into the patterns and the habits and things that, we carry on as adults, but they're not always
right.
conscious. And
Right.
so I'm sure you have these experiences where you take people through inner child healing, and they're like, wait a minute, this one thing that happened on the playground when I was in kindergarten is why I'm 40 years old doing the things I'm doing. And it's almost hard to wrap your head around because a lot of times people think it has to be a big thing. Oh, I grew up in poverty. I grew up in
Right.
abuse. I grew up. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that dramatic, right? For your body to rewire and create different safety mechanisms and different, ways of surviving that you carry on to adulthood, right? So I just like to emphasize that because a lot of times people just start pushing this to the side, right? And I think it's not my what do I say? My somatic practitioner works with my clients on inner child healing. It's not my specialty. But
Sure.
I specifically have added that in because of the power of it.
So
Um,
much power.
so
Yes,
much.
I had a client who through the process remembered the very first day that the very first Black child came to school,
Mm,
the first day of integration. And
interesting.
she was like, oh, look, a friend, someone my age, someone I can play with.
Mm,
But she also, through this process, remembered seeing the adults outside the fence line with the signs saying,
mm,
we don't want this. This can't be okay.
mm,
And she remembers feeling the shame of wanting to play with a little kid.
interesting.
So, like, that shaped her whole life.
Interesting.
And she had these implicit memories coming up every time she would try to make a new friend.
Mm,
What? And
yeah.
being able to rewire that, was so supportive and transformational for her.
It's so interesting.
I
Um,
mean, we don't think about it now, here we are, fully integrated society, right? We don't think
right.
about that, but she had that very, very specific memory, but she had forgotten it until we started doing the work of where did this idea come from? Where did this thought come from? Where did this belief come from?
Well, that's the crazy part too, is understanding more about trauma. And I don't use that word lightly, but it hides, right? We forget.
Mhm.
And so, that's a safety mechanism too. So we think things are fine, and then you start going through this processing, you start remembering things that your body tried to forget. And you're like, huh, okay, well maybe that one thing really did impact me a little bit more than
Yeah.
I thought, right?
Yeah.
Um, so as far as, um, energy work,
Mm-hmm.
what are your favorite kind of modalities of energy work that you find, that you like to work the best with, either personally or, professionally with clients?
Sure. Both personally and professionally. I'm a certified emotion and body code practitioner.
Amazing.
And this is just an energetic way of easily identifying an emotion or emotion that's stuck or an energy that is dissonant in your body and
Mhm.
releasing it. It's an immediate release. We let that stuff go. And I've had clients, I actually just worked with a client the other day. We were on the phone. She was in a dead zone and we got dropped, but I was working on releasing some stuff. And she called me 10 minutes later after she got out of her dead zone. And she's like, oh my gosh, I had to call you back, even though I know you said you were just going to keep working for me. She said, I had to call you back and tell you the pain is gone. It's completely gone. I mean, so just, I love the emotion in the body code because it's immediate. It's an immediate release, immediate relief for
Mhm.
the person receiving the energy work.
Yes, I'm 3/4 the way through emotion code at the moment. Um,
Love it. Love
yes,
it. It's so good. It's so good.
people underestimate the power of energy work because it's like, oh, this is woo, and but even I work bioresonance work, and I can see and quantify like, okay, there's joint pain, there's thing, and literally
Mm-hmm.
people will feel better right after I just finished scanning them. They don't even know I'm scanning them. I'm like, oh, it felt better. What time? Oh, funny enough, this is but they work along the same lines of quantum physics, where
Right.
and quantum entanglement, whatever you want to call it. Um, but so much pain, and this is coming from a chronic pain person, I struggled with autoimmune issues for a good majority of my life, is rooted in emotion and not in eating more turmeric or, glucosamine and chondroitin. Don't get me wrong, maybe they're helpful, for you, but it's like addressing these things.
Yes.
which is interesting, right? We don't think, oh, when I have joint pain, I'm going to go get my emotion cleared, right? I would have never thought about it, like 10 years ago, right? So I love bringing up kind of emotion code, body code, and things like that, and just how you can work anywhere in the world with
Anywhere, anywhere. It's wonderful, right? The whole world is made up of energy.
yeah.
There's a reason it was designed that way, right? And
Hmm.
being able to work with anyone anywhere in the world because of how the world is designed. And this is science. This isn't woo woo, right?
No.
This is science. I remember learning it in like ninth grade science. That my desk is made up of moving atoms.
Hmm.
It didn't make sense then.
For sure.
It makes so much sense now, though. And realizing that we're all energy. Like I could reach out to you right now and support you,
Yep.
even though we're in completely different parts of the world because of the way that the world is designed. It's incredible.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And semi hard to wrap your head around, right? Like, so if you're listening, I get it. I was once a little bit, I want to say skeptical, always believed but didn't understand, and that's a big thing, is like sometimes we don't have to fully understand.
Well, the funny thing is, I'm working with it. Yeah, no, I work with clients with the emotion code and body code, and I tell them, I get it. I understand how it works. I'm trained in doing this, yet I am still in awe
Yeah,
every time
that's how I feel.
because of how it works. Yeah.
Every time I do a freaking bioresonance scan, it's the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you know? Like, I
I,
know the science, but it's still amazing. It's like,
I've had so many clients say, how did you know that? How did you know that about me? Well, I didn't. This was when we're talking about the emotion code and the body code, it's about connecting with your subconscious because your subconscious remembers everything. I love the scene in Bruce Almighty where Morgan Freeman tells Jim Carrey to go ahead and open up the filing cabinet, right? And he thinks it's just going to be like a 2-foot filing cabinet and it ends up being over 100 feet long. That's our subconscious.
I love that.
It tracks everything. It remembers every single thing. And the emotion code is a way to tap in to the subconscious, to ask it very pointed questions, get real answers in real time,
Mm,
and let it go.
love that. I'm gonna have to use that analogy though.
Go for it.
Love
Feel
that. One of my favorite movies. No, that's wonderful. And blending that kind of work with inner child work. And I am curious, just briefly dabbling into the aromatherapy part because that is something unique. And again, we don't have to dive into the rabbit holes of like, you know, aromatherapy not just being like picking up something from the grocery store and,
sure.
because your friend said it, there really is good quality ones, how to do it correctly, but how would you say that this is a good, just little support to the practice? Like, what would you do to help support via aromatherapy for a client?
Sure. So one of the very first things I do is I create a blend for a new client. Say I get a new
Okay.
client that signs up. I create an inhaler blend for them and I do that intuitively.
Mm,
Yes, I will use my knowledge and pull out some oils that I think would support them. But then using a pendulum,
mhm,
I intuitively tap into like, what is it that they actually need? Connect with with them energetically. What is it that they actually need? And I just create a general blend for them that we can use as an anchor as they're working through things. But during sessions, if something comes up, right? Health, wellness, life coaching, it's all kind of connected. And if something comes up, like I have a client who was waking up at a very specific time every night, right? There's something was off in their diurnal cycle. And
mm,
being able to tap into that time frame, what we realized was her liver was struggling to do its process and regenerate because at that time of night, the liver comes online to do its job. And creating a blend for her that targets the liver, that supports the liver.
mm,
And what she would do, I told her, if you're finding yourself waking up, just put a couple drops on your pillow before you go to sleep.
mm.
And she immediately would start sleeping through the night. Like it just needed that little bit of support to be able to do the job that it's designed to do.
Yeah, that's interesting because at the
Yeah.
beginning, my functional brain's like, oh, push liver detox and maybe some, add some thistle and maybe, add some, right.
Yeah.
But it's, aromatherapy is also very interesting that sometimes it can be simpler.
Right.
Right.
And we don't always need a detox. It
Right.
was just like, I just need a little extra support. When somebody's diurnal cycle is off, that's
Yeah.
where my brain goes. Oh, I just need a little extra support.
Hmm.
Can you help me just get through the night?
This
Oh,
is such an interesting, I mean, we don't have to necessarily dive in this, but your cycle in the night, if you're always waking up between like, I think 1 and 3 is liver, like 2 and 4, I think is lungs. I can't remember the exact times.
yeah, I'd have to look.
I'd have to look at this, but it's, there's different times. So if you look at the clock every day, and it's certain time, there's probably something you can directly correlate it for the most part with a certain organ system. Blood sugar and cortisol are big ones, but I find that very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And just being able to create, like I said, create a blend to support that system.
Hmm.
Um, so as a registered aromatherapist, there's lots of things I could do, right? I could be selling products. I could
Yeah.
be, I don't want to do all that,
Yeah.
right? I want to use my knowledge to support my clients, whether they're coming to me specifically for aromatherapy, which is fine, or they're in a coaching container, that's fine too. Or maybe they're just an emotion or body code client
Hmm.
and they need a little bit of extra, whatever it is. I want to be here to support the people who need my support,
Mm.
whatever that looks like.
Yeah, I love that. If you could give, say, two, maybe three little pieces of advice for a woman that's, maybe on this verge of a mentee, call it, a mental breakdown, physical breakdown. We've obviously went through a lot of different tools today, but if somebody's like, hey, just give me 2 or 3 things. What can I do today to kind of get my body to move through this, on my own?
2 to 3 pieces of, let's see. I'm not real good at the general because I love working one-on-one, very specific. But honestly, I love the tool. This is probably one of my favorite tools. When you realize whatever it is, like you realize I'm super frustrated, or you realize I'm about ready to pummel my spouse, or I just want to break down and cry.
Hmm.
Whatever you realize, the moment that you realize it, just take a deep breath. That's step one.
Hmm.
Step two, move out of the space that you are standing in. Go to a different location. Leave that energy there intentionally, with intention. That's what the deep breath is for. Take a deep breath. I've just realized this thing, and I'm going to walk away from that thing, that energy, that negative energy that's dragging you down. There's so much power in movement, so much power in stepping away. And
Hmm.
that doesn't mean we never come back to it, right? That's why most people have stuck energy in their body, because something happens and we think to ourselves, I'll come back and deal with that later. And we never come back and deal with it.
Yeah.
So the energy gets stuck. But that initial moment, being able to recognize what's going on, take a deep breath, and even if it's just step back, because stepping back gives you the opportunity to actually see it for what it is, instead of allowing it to just
Hmm.
run rampant inside of you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really powerful tool because I mean you can use that anywhere, anytime for any job
Yeah.
or
And
life
yeah,
life
exactly.
circumstance.
Exactly. And nobody needs to know, right? Nobody needs to know that you're using this technique, right? So you're in the grocery line and somebody just pissed you off. Take a deep breath and just sidestep, right? Get out of that space where you were pissed, so that
That's-
you can actually see the situation for what it is. Maybe they're having whatever it is. You can see it more clearly when you're not in that space.
Yeah, I'm just realizing most of people's are projections and it's not a you thing.
Exactly.
Projections on things they haven't processed and they're just
Exactly.
putting it on you.
Yeah. That's a whole other podcast episode.
Totally other. I was like, I'm not gonna open this rabbit hole too much, but just know that.
Yes.
But no, I think this is really helpful, and I think that, just taking away these little nuggets of information, kind of widening people's eyes to different modalities is really helpful. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate you being here, sharing your knowledge. And if people wanted to learn more about you, what you do, your coaching, where can they connect with you?
Well, the easiest way is just lemonbalmcoaching.com. And
Lemon.
lemon balm, right, is the scientific name for the plant Melissa. So lemon balm
Wait,
coaching.
really?
Yes.
I
Why I
was like,
chose
oh, I
that.
love that supplement though.
Well, I'm like everybody's like Coach Shannon, Coach Abby, and I'm like, I just can't be Coach Melissa. I just can't. So lemonbalmcoaching.com and also on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Oh, that's so funny. Love that. Well, definitely, if you found this helpful, shoot her a message. Shoot me a message. We love to hear when people, had some takeaways from the episode. And otherwise, I appreciate you guys listening and being here, and we will catch you guys on the next show. Thank you,
Thank you
Melissa.
so much, Shannon.